Where are you? It's so cold here. Why did you leave me?
Project, I decided to do Little Women, the 2019 version, because in my opinion, it's the best, but it's also my favorite. I've watched it too many times to count. And for this review, I don't have a lot of critiques, but my biggest one and my main one is that Amy was treated as a second choice in this movie. In this movie, Lori tells Amy not to marry Fred Vaughn, which was her boyfriend at the time, but he didn't love Amy the way she loved him. Amy had loved him since she was younger, but he was in love with Joe, but too afraid to say anything. In my opinion, I think that Lori took advantage of how much Amy loved him, and he used that to propose to her. I am Team Lori and Amy all the way over Team Lori and Joe, but I think it was because Amy brought out the self-control and put away the childish ways of Lori, and that's why he behaved a lot better when they were together, compared to earlier in the movie when he was still back and forth between loving Joe and loving Amy and being by himself. But I think they're really cute together, and in the end, I am again Team Amy and Lori all the way. But we're on to my praises, and I have a lot because this movie is amazing. So my biggest praise is the lighting and the color in this movie. There are two beach scenes in this movie. There's one scene where it's sunny and everybody's laughing and having a good time and the beach is crowded. And there is a love forming between Meg and John Brooks, which goes kind of hand in hand with the coloring of this scene. And personally for me, I feel like there's a sort of innocence of falling in love. And I've also never been in love, so I'm going to preface that with that statement. But that's what the lighting gives off. It's kind of an innocent with the baby blue skies and the clear blue water and the sand and a little bit of wind. It's just something about it that just feels innocent. But then you have another scene on the beach where it's overcast, it's gloomy, there's no one on the beach, and there's a dying Beth and Joe reading and talking about how Beth is accepting her eventual death and how Joe is refusing to let her go. Okay, now it's time for my biggest praise of this movie, which is most definitely the acting. I think everybody did a fantastic job acting in this movie, but the holy trinity of acting in this movie is definitely Timothée Chalamet, Saoirse Ronan, and Florence Pugh. They all did amazing jobs, but I'm going to start off with Timothée Chalamet. I feel like Timothée Chalamet just perfectly captured heartbreak and sadness and disappointment and the realization when the person that you love doesn't love you back, and how you want to convince them that you two will be happy together when they try to convince you that everything will go wrong. But you just love them so much and you can't think straight about what could possibly go wrong because all you care about is how much you love them. And when proposing to Joe, Lori gets frustrated and he goes on a rant and he says that he would rather die than have Joe not marry him. And it just shows how much he really loved Joe, or at least loved Joe at that moment. And it just shows how much Timothée Chalamet really put his heart and soul into that scene. Now on to the lovely Saoirse Ronan, who plays Jo March. Saoirse Ronan really just showed how heartbreaking it is to realize that the person that was your best friend and still is your best friend wants you more than that, and you just can't give it to them. The dialogue between the two when Lori proposes is just utterly soul-crushing.
You gotta have it out.
No,
I have
hey.
loved you ever since I've known you, Joe. I couldn't help it. And, I figured you'd love me, Joe. And I realize I'm not half good enough, and I'm not this great man, and...
Yes, you are. You're a great deal too good for me, and I'm so grateful to you, and I'm so proud of you, and I don't see why I can't love you as you want me to. I don't know why.
Saoirse Ronan really showed you how to break somebody's heart in less than 5 minutes. And then she breaks her heart again when she's talking to her mom about how she wants Lori to propose again. But not because she loves him, but it's because she's lonely and she wants to be loved. And last but not least, we have Florence Pugh, who is equally as incredible in this movie as Timothy and Saoirse. And as a Marvel fan, I love her as Yelena Belova, but I loved her as Amy March first. Florence was 23 in this film, and she played a 12-year-old like somebody who should have won an Oscar. But I digress. She also represented how it feels to have somebody you have loved since childhood treat you as a second choice and you feel like you've never gotten a chance with them.
I have been second to Joe my whole life in everything. And I will not be the person you settle for just because you cannot have her. I won't do it. I won't, not when I've spent my entire life loving you.
Amy loves Lori. She shows it every time she looks at him. And Lori knows this, but in the beginning at least, he didn't love her the way that he loved Joe. But Florence Pugh handles all of that pain with so much beauty. And she's adorable in this film, and she cracks me up, and I love it. And that, folks, is my critique of Little Women. This movie is very near and dear to my heart, so if you haven't watched, watch it. And if you have watched, I hope you enjoyed this critique.
Omori is a 2020 role-playing video game developed and published by indie company Omocat, which is based in Japan. This adventure, indie, and some horror elements of a video game is influenced by other indie titles such as Earthbound and Undertale. Now, this game is a lot to unpack, as Sunny, or his alter ego Omori, starts role-playing his adventure throughout the land of Faraway Town. Him and his friends embark on lots of adventures in Dreamscape and in reality in Faraway Town. He can take jobs, he can fight enemies, he can team up with his friends to perform super attacks, but most of all, I love the soundtrack and the story this game lies out. As somebody who's played this and was disappointingly spoiled by the whole experience, no spoilers in this video, personally, this game did not hit as hard as I think it should. This game is a tearjerker. It's really tough to play, but it's worth $20 that you will put in to buy this game. It's amazing. It's one of the greatest things I've ever played in my entire life. One of my best friends bought it for me about September, after I've been kind of not really obsessed, but after I knew the full story of the game. And it's one of the greatest games I've ever played. It's rated 10 out of 10 by Steam, 9 out of 10 by Nintendo Life. It's 98% liked on Google Games. It's one of the greatest game titles of all time I've ever played. This one's definitely something to play as just a casual play. It's really fun. You can get it on Switch, you can get it on PC, you can get it on Xbox and PlayStation. It's not on mobile yet, but I think a port shall be coming soon. I really like the pure piano feel of most of the soundtracks in this game. Gives it a very nice, nostalgic, almost heartening feel, which definitely ties into the story. I recommend this game to anybody. Again, it's a really tough play, but it's definitely worth your time at the end of the day, and it's definitely something that you should be invested in. It's the only game that I've ever cried to. The ending scene is very tough. The whole game is very tough. But some of my favorite characters that have ever come out of video games, like Basil and Cal, they're two of my favorites. So I definitely recommend anybody to play this video game. And it's not even about skill, which is amazing. I love it. It's more about the storytelling. Makes it one of the best games I've ever played. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation on this game, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
SpongeBob is a show based off in the ocean where we follow a yellow square and his many friends around in Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob's personality is a little goofy, but that matches well with his best friend Patrick. And man, they're crazy. They're the type of friends that have conversations like this.
You may be an open book, SpongeBob, but I'm a bit more complicated than that. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Oh, yeah.
They're even best friends to the point where they live one house down each other. You see that house in the middle? Yeah, the blue one right there? That's their neighbor Squidward's house. He happens to hate them. But he's a main character anyway, and it's come to find out later that he secretly likes them.
I sorta don't feel like playing my clarinet today.
SpongeBob?
SpongeBob has a job he goes to every day down at the Krusty Krab. His boss is Mr. Krabs, and Squidward works there. I'm gonna end it off right here. If I was to talk about like more episodes and stuff, and I'll be here for like a year straight. So I'm gonna end it off with my favorite SpongeBob clip.
Excuse me, sir. I hope my horrible ugliness won't be a distraction to you.
Not at all, boy!
If there is a voice in your head, don't listen to it.
Hiyo, what's your name? Wanna make a deal with me?
Why do I try? Why do I try?
Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night?
Why do I try? Why do I try?
Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night?
Why do I try? Why do I try?
Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night?
Why do I try? Why do I try?
Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night?
Why do I try? Why do I try?
Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night?
Why do I try? Why do I try?
Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night? Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night?
Why do I try? Why do I try?
Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night?
Why do I try? Why do I try?
Why don't you tell me why I can't sleep at night?
Why do I try? Why do I?
Stop! What do you mean? Like, I didn't know you were doing me.
Tell me, what is your name?
I'm Hannah.
What are you doing here today?
I'm looking at African art. I feel like I want to experience what they're like.
How are you interpreting this art?
Interpreting. It's a lot of just learning like how, because a lot of the figurines are of people, and so like I'm reading a lot about like beauty standards. So I was talking about a long or like a strong neck for a woman shows like honesty. And I was like,
That's so sweet.
Interesting, and like I don't know, it's just cool to learn about.
Where do you find art or beauty in your everyday life?
In my everyday life, nature. Nature's
Nature.
like I'm very much a nature person. I just like I see beauty in like I don't know the way like also like lighting of the sun.
Yeah.
It portrays nature differently.
What do you say is beautiful about Chicago?
About Chicago? I don't know, so many things, like just a lot of different like people, and then there's also like the nature of Chicago and like beaches, and I don't know. There's a lot of like really cool like architecture too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Not so much the new stuff, because a lot of that is very like modern and like doesn't have a lot of taste to it, but like.
What is your name?
What's my name?
Yeah.
Chelsea.
That was so nice. I really like that.
That was really cute.
What have you been doing today?
I went out with my little boo friends, you know. Where did we go? Oh, we went to the Art Institute. We saw black art.
Yeah, we did.
Barely any Ghanaian art, so.
Are you Ghanaian?
Yeah, I am Ghanaian.
Are you from Chicago?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been in Chicago?
Since I was born. Yeah.
Very nice.
Popped out repping.
Where do you find beauty?
Nature. It's so cliche, I know, but like I love going to the beach or like walking. I like going out. Like, remember when you dropped me off at home? Like yesterday, Friday, me and Hannah were hanging out, and like I got home super late because I was just walking around listening to music for like 20 minutes. It was like 10 degrees out, but it was so nice. I was like not sightseeing, but like when the street lights hit like the street on a certain angle, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just so cute. I just like it.
What do you find beautiful about the city of Chicago?
Beautiful? This is gonna sound so cliche, but like the culture that people like kind of don't want to be a part of, you know?
Yeah.
Not like Millennium Park or like downtown, but like there are some ghetto parts, and I really like that about a neighborhood because it's like builds like culture, like the parks, Potawatomi, Passion. They're like so. I just like have so many nostalgic memories when I go there, and I just love it.
Good answer. Good answer.
Thank you.
What does it feel like to call Chicago your home?
It feels, I don't know, sometimes it feels like I'm lying just because how far north I live, and like I live right by the suburbs, so it's like, and just like a stigma like calling like places that have like high crime rates your like home, because people are like, oh, you're lying just because you want to like say you're from Chicago, but like babes, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like maybe sometimes I felt like I wanted to live in like a more popular city, or like a city where like it's not as cold, but hey, I like here. Yeah. What letter is that? What note is that? You know that you are.
So I just played D. G, A minor, B minor, G minor.
Come on, y'all! Then I saw her face.
It's a beautiful morning. I have a good breakfast and a delicious ramen and a sweet, sweet tea. Nothing better than this. Nothing can destroy these beautiful moments.
Sir, I have something for you.
Ow! It's a card from my boss. Well, a check. $15,000.
Ha! I scare you? Hey, why you cry? And that's why you cry. Listen, the bad things happen, but they are really in the past. Tell me, what do you want to, what you will do? Well, I can help you if you want. Okay, now get me out of here. Uh-oh.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. DeRozan with 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Lofts it up. Oh! 1-point game, final seconds. Bulls look for the win. DeRozan to win it. Go! DeMar DeRozan. Lillard, long-range three, and it's good! As a timeout. Lillard, a chance to send the Thunder home. Lillard, long-range three, and it's good! Timeout, decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown, bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.
Oh, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze and listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you, don't fence me in.
Just turn me loose, let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western sky. On my coyotes, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountainside.
I wanna ride to the ridge where the west commences and gaze at the moon till I lose my senses, and I can't look at houses and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in.
Under starry skies, don't fence me in. Let me ride through the rock-hide country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze and listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you, please don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western skies.
On my coyotes, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. Ba 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 ba. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences and gaze at the moon till I lose my senses, and I can't look at hovels and I can't stand fences. Don't
No,
don't you
fence me.
Have you ever wanted a show where ninjas don't hide in the shadows and just charge headfirst into battle? Did you answer yes? I don't care if you said anything other than yes, because that is the only correct answer. Now, Shuriken Sentai Ninja will satisfy your needs for a show where ninjas don't hide but charge head first. Shuriken Sentai Ninja is the season I'll be talking about today. Now some of you might be asking, oh, what's a Super Sentai? Well, I'm glad you asked, because this is very simple to explain. There are 3 to 6 people fighting against monsters. Usually they're in spandex, sometimes they're in leather jackets, sometimes they're hideous. Yes, Battlefield suits look hideous. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Shuriken Sentai Ninja. It is the 39th season of Super Sentai. That's right, 39. There's almost 46 now. I'm not joking, there's a lot of seasons to catch up on. Better start now. Ninja is the 39th season of Super Sentai, and it's all about ninjas. It makes it the 3rd ninja season of Super Sentai, this Kaku, Ranger, and Hurricaneer. And there is a crossover episode between all 3 of them. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the actual show. We don't have a lot of time, so let's get going. The music. I love the music of this series. It's so good, it's so catchy. Of course, what's a show without an opening? Well, it'd be a really bad show. But thankfully, Ninja has an opening and an ending, unlike other Super Sentai seasons. Seasons that I have very strong opinions on, and that are very bad. But Ninja has an ending, which is good, because both the opening and endings are really good. As in, they slap, especially the ending. I like it more than the opening, if you ask me. They're both really catchy. It's great. I love it.
ラスト忍者の称号を得るため祖父の志継ぐ5人の孫たち倒す相手は恐るべき敵戦国最強騎馬鬼剣月弟子も加わり熱き忍者は忍びなれども忍ばない最強は何忍者手浮かぶ敵にジャパン水源戦隊忍忍者ダラダラ大空かける風を切り高く強く五色の誓い当たれ風聖域の手裏剣輝きを抱きしめてぶっ飛ばせ未来へとマジガチたちまち誕生最強は何忍者変が自在にジャパン夢の敵やっつけちゃって殺しめちゃってせいせいせいさあ飛べは何忍者熱き絆にジャパンつなげ手裏剣戦隊ニュー忍者
Now, that was just the opening of the show. The real music starts at the end, because the ending of the show is amazing. It could be one of the best endings of Super Sentai in general, if you ask me. But I just want you to listen, and you can just hear how good it is.
大丈夫君はいつもいっぱいいっぱい仲間がついてそうの手裏剣シュラシュシュシュ変幻自在に術で踊ればニンニンニンニン明日もあっぱれ日本バレーなんじゃもんじゃ忍者おえおえお忍ぶつもりはござらぬ手裏剣戦隊
show without a story. But Ninja has a story, so that's good, because then I won't be reviewing it. The story of Ninja follows that Gengetsu, the main villain, was sealed away 444 years ago by the last ninja. And of course, his son Kyuemon has come back to revive him. And the last ninja can't let that happen, obviously, so he gets his 5 grandchildren, the red, the blue, the yellow, the white, and the pink. And eventually the gold joins in. He's not a grandchildren, but he just kind of just joins in. And he becomes part of the family, but, you know, we're not talking about that right now. Now, of course, they come in and they stop the villains, yada yada yada. There are a bunch of generals that are in the show. They don't really matter that much because they don't do a lot. I mean, they have a presence there. But besides the first one, I don't think I really liked any of the other ones because, again, they were just there and didn't do a lot. The only good one was Kyuemon, in the first one, like I said before. But Kyuemon felt more like the actual villain, if you ask me, because he was around the entire time. You know, he had a lot of good plans. He did a lot more than Gengetsu, basically. Gengetsu would, you know, affect the shurikens that were used to turn to monsters, like every once in a while, but that was like really rare. Kyuemon was basically always out there. He didn't fight, but he could fight because he was a ninja. Actually, Kyuemon was a ninja. Now of course that's all I really have to say about the story. But now, onto the suits. The suits look really nice if you ask me. I like them a lot. They're better than Tokyuger's, and they're better than the next season's Yuzuru suits. They look sharp. They look clean. I love the gold one. He's a cowboy. That's what I'm saying. The gold one's the GOAT. Now that we're done with that, we can go on to the characters. Now, of course, again, what's a show without characters? Characters are like they're really needed for a story to be good. And thankfully, all the ninjas are likable. I mean, there's other characters that aren't, you know, Power Rangers. I'm calling them Power Rangers even though they're not, because it's more easy for me to say, and it's more easy for probably you guys to understand. But, you know, each Power Ranger is likable. I mean, there's other characters, like I said, but they're okay. Sometimes they don't even reappear, which is kind of sad. But each of the ninjas have a goal, which is the same goal: to become the last ninja. Of course, only one of them can become the last ninja, and of course, it's going to be the red one because he's the leader and he's obviously the coolest one. Except he's not, because I'm going to be ranking all of them, all the ninjas, starting with my least favorite, the red one. He's okay. He's not the worst, not the best. He's definitely better than other Red Rangers in Super Sentai. I hate this show so much with passion. I am not joking. I could go into an hour-long rant about this, but I'm not. Now, he does have a catchphrase, which another Red Ranger has a catchphrase in another season of Super Sentai that comes later. And I recommend you watch that one too. Uchu Sentai Q Ranger, mwah, masterpiece. Definitely recommend. Now, next up is the blue ninja. Why? Because he's British. Next up, the yellow and white ninja. I always forget the yellow's name. I don't know why. I can only remember the white one. It's Fuka. That's it. And that's the only one I can really pronounce either. Now, they're both the youngest, so we get to see them improve and grow the most, which is really cool. Because you get to see their skills improve, and we see Yellow develop a new technique. Now, of course, Yellow and White are both equal in my eyes because, you know, they're both pretty good characters. White doesn't have as much improvement as Yellow, but still, she's kind of chaotic, and I like chaotic characters. Most of the time. Not always. Too much chaos can be a bit bad. In second place, we have the pink ninja. She gets a lot of focus episodes, if you ask me, but I mean, she deserves it. She's a good character. Not bad at all. You know, she makes a lot of technology for them to use, except they don't really use it because their main power source is ninja stars, or the stealing shurikens that they used, that would transform into other shurikens they could insert to their sword and spin it so that then some new ability can be used. It makes a lot more sense when you watch the show, which I recommend you do. Go watch the show. I recommend it, of course. I recommend it. Now, for the last one, the best ninja, the golden one. Of course, the Sixth Ranger is always the coolest one, and this time it's especially deserved. His morpher is a burger. I'm being 100% for real. His morpher is a burger. He put the star into the burger and spins it. It's amazing. He is a cowboy. His whole thing is he's a star ninja. He's not the golden ninja, he's a star ninja. Amazing. He's a cowboy. He's a cowboy. His suit's based on a cowboy. His battleizer's a cowboy. His sword is a bull, a guy riding a bull. It's amazing. Now, besides the fact that his concept is incredible, he actually gets a pretty good amount of focus episodes. Focus episodes are basically, since I haven't explained yet, are when a ranger gets an episode basically about them, where the monster is based around them or something like that, where they get to learn. And his episodes are amazing because he is amazing. He's so fun. He's like the most funny character in the show, if you ask me. Yeah, pretty much. His whole thing, there's this really important plot with him that I will not spoil again because I want you to watch it. It's amazing. It honestly is one of the best moments, if you ask me. Now, that does it for the characters. Now, some people might say, oh, what's the show about? Now, I already explained the story, but what is Super Sentai itself? Well, Super Sentai is a lot of fight scenes and a lot of character moments. And, well, it's good. The fights in the season can be really good or just, the average Super Sentai fights. They're not as good as seasons to come. It's not as good as some of the seasons before it. But it's still pretty cool because they're ninjas, man. Who doesn't like ninjas? Ninjas fighting. Now, the only thing that's different between these ninjas and the previous ninja seasons is that, the whole thing is that, oh, they're ninjas. They hide in the shadows. They take from the shadows. Not these ones. These guys are just basically Power Rangers. They just go and attack. Pretty much. They don't hide. They don't use any smart plants except for pink and blue sometimes. But blue is a magician, so he doesn't really count. Like, yeah, I forgot to mention that when I was talking about the characters because he's British. I don't care. He is a magician, and he actually studies under the Yellow Magi Ranger, which is the season I'm watching right now. As of recording this, at least. Now, of course, the fight scenes are still pretty cool. They have some really good fights. I love one of the fight scenes between Red and one of the generals. I already forgot both of their names. I'm sorry, but then again, he kind of just dies pretty early on. But it doesn't matter. Either way, good fight scenes. Besides that, they have some character moments where they're talking around. There's some really dramatic moments and some really high energy moments. Is it funny though? Kind of tough to say, if you ask me. Comedy is subjective, and you could think one thing's funny while I think something else isn't funny. There are some funny moments. It's definitely the funniest season of Super Sentai. In fact, I haven't laughed a lot in any season. I have a very bad taste in comedy, if you ask me. But it got me a few laughs sometimes. It's not as good as Dagayo shooting a baby as a monster. That's true. Here's a clip of that. I'm being 100% real. That happens. I mean, of course, this comedy's not gonna be the greatest. It is a kid show. Yes, they show blood in this kid show. It's not America. So, is Ninja a good season? Now, if you ask me, I say it is. I love it. A lot of people in the Super Sentai fan base will say it's not good. I disagree. It's really good. Now, would I recommend it? Of course I recommend it. I've been recommending it to you this entire time. If you think I'd recommend it to you now, why would I say it the past few times? Honestly, just like, it makes no sense. To close the review off, I will say this. It's a good season. Just watch it. It's not going to take that much time. It's only like 48 episodes, but hey, you have the time. You were watching this review. Unless you were forced to be here, then I'm sorry you have to watch my review, because I am very inexperienced with this type of stuff. Not my problem.